GeordieJedi here. Today, review against Southampton at St Mary's. 4-0 to Southampton. Just a repeat of last year. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just getting so sick of watching this kind of thing happen to us. We're overall, I'd probably say we're in the top 5, maybe top 6 of the biggest clubs, if we're including fan base plus, you know, stadiums, shirt sales, etc. We're one of the top 5 or 6. And yet this fucking keeps happening to us, especially in recent fucking years. We cannot get any kind of luck, any kind of right decision. Because now I was one of the more reasonable people at the end of the season. I thought Mike Ashley out, fair enough. Pardew, best we can do for the time being, but I'm sorry, there's got to be someone fucking better now. I mean, what will happen is in the next 5 games he'll do well, and that means that Mike Ashley won't sack him, and then the next 5 he'll do shite, and it'll just keep happening this way because we're just one of the unluckiest fans in the fucking world. Okay, go on to the game. Right at the start there was just signs that this was not going to go our way when there was just that weak pass back from Colaccini to Tim Krul. Shane Long fought for it. In fairness, won it. Should have put it away, but luckily enough for us, he didn't. And then it just all started going to shit. Our defence had nothing. They don't have any answer for any attacker this season. Because what keeps happening is, in general, our defence is all right. It's not brilliant, but for some unknown reason, every time we need them to do something right, they don't do it. There'll be a weak pass here. They won't watch the man, and yet in every other circumstance they will watch their man. In specific case, in the case of the first goal, what I'd say was Colaccini was at fault, because how to put it, the three of our defenders, Janmat, Williamson, and Haidara, they all, you know, perfect line, can't complain on it. And yet, for Colaccini was man marking. So what had happened is one of their attackers would run past the line of defence, the 3 defenders, and Colaccini would follow him, which of course puts him on side. Well, don't fucking do it. It's one or the other. You either man mark or you zonal mark. You do one or the other. You don't get both. And obviously, you scored. Basically the same thing happened again for the second goal. Kind of what happened was similar. Colaccini played him on side because he wasn't in the line of defence. I blame Colaccini for the majority of these little, well, Pele's goals anyways. Third goal, Jack Cork. Again, Williamson doesn't even know he's behind him. So he goes, right, Krul, come get it, come get it. Krul, in fairness, does. Mike Williamson then turns around and sees him, shit! And obviously, you know, Cork's already ran past and he scored. Fair enough. Fourth goal, there's not too much to complain about in the sense that neither defender had a problem. Although, quite frankly, Janmat should have been watching him, but, you know, Schneiderlin, amazing goal. Can't argue with the finish, can't argue with the placement either. Now I'm going to talk as the game in general, going to go over a couple of good points. The effort was in there. You know, I'll be honest, quite a few players were running after the ball. The problem was that they were running after the ball and they weren't doing anything about it. Well, the pressure had now and again, but Colback had a decent game, not brilliant. Haidara was probably man of the match from a Newcastle point of view, because he defensively was decent. A couple of diving headers, clearances to get rid of it. Attacking, again, he was probably the only person really to actually link up with any of the other players. You know, sort of do the 1-2. He was probably the only person I ever saw that did it. So Haidara had a decent game. As soon as Czech Tiote came in the second half, defensively we were a bit better. And I think there's a good reason for that. Because Colback is somewhat meant to partner up with Tiote. And Colback's decent defensively, but he also likes to attack. Tiote doesn't so much. I think the defenders like it when there's someone with Tiote in front of them whose only job is to help them. Is to make their job a bit easier. So good thing Tiote is back, otherwise we'd be even more fucked. Colback again, you know, he plays defensively, but he does like to go forward, so, you know, no fault. We need Sam De Jong back, we'll look a bit more powerful then. Cabela. Sorry, this is a specific point I want to bring up. It's a little bit of a backhand to Alan Pardew. We brought in Cabela as really as a replacement for Hatton Ben Arfa, effectively. Now part of the problem, although they had personal issues, the main problem playing wise between Hatton Ben Arfa and Pardew was the fact that although Hatton Ben Arfa could do amazingly well going forward, he wouldn't track back. I'm one of Ben Arfa's biggest fans, and I'll admit, you know, he really should track back more often. And then we're bringing in Cabela as a replacement who isn't as good at attacking and also refuses to track back. I'm sorry there's no point replacing someone with someone who's worse when you could have played him. You could have had Hatton Ben Arfa. I'd have fucking loved it. He's a better player. Cabela, maybe in time it'll be better, but right now we don't have the fucking time. We're in no position to wait for young kids to grow up, or even older players to grow up, quite frankly. We're in no position. We can't do it. Send them somewhere else if they're going to. But don't bring in the same fucking kind of player. Riviere had a decent chance, but in fairness, you know, Lionel Messi will miss chances. Sergio Aguero will miss chances, so to give Riviere one good chance which he should have put away and he misses it, it's difficult to blame it still on him because he only had one chance, maybe two, but you know, there's only so much you can do with one or two chances. You can't expect him to put them away each and every fucking time. Gouffran looked actually relatively decent. Something I'd like to point is a little bit of a positive. Did anyone else see GeordieJedi actually doing some brilliant passing? Seriously, there's a lovely ball over the, like, right over across the field to Haidara. There was another powerful ball again across to the right to Janmat, and these balls were pretty good. So good on GeordieJedi. So the only stat that worked in our favour was possession. We had more possession. Apart from that, shite. Nobody had the drive to attack. I don't know what the hell happened compared to what happened to Man City. Or, you know, when we played Man City, it's gone. Everything is fucked up. There is something wrong. Now, I'm not biggest fan of Pardew. I was never the biggest fan of Pardew, but I also wasn't the person who hated them the most. I was always relatively happy, comfortable with Pardew. But there's something wrong. To go from Man City playing like that, playing brilliantly, to playing like shite, there's just something wrong. Now Pardew said, you know, give all of the new players, especially the ones from other countries, 10 games to you know, get into the hang of it. Pretty much everybody said, okay, maybe you have 5. But are all those players actually played decently against Man City? If you can play decently against Man City, you can play decently against every other fucking team in the Premier League. And we're just not seeing it. I don't know. This is one of the most frustrating times to be a Newcastle fan, because no matter what we do now, we cannot sort of see the reason why this is happening. Last season we had a lack of quality, maybe fatigued in the Europa League season. We physically could see an excuse coming from, you know, but this time no, they're not fatigued, they don't have extra games. Lack of quality, bullshit. Riviere is actually a decent player, Cabela is a decent player, so it's not lack of quality we don't have, there's no problem there. Manager is probably the only other option, really. It's a problem. Pardew's went through so many excuses that there's only one left, and that's him. Anyways, we'll hope for a decent showing against Hull City, because we need one. 2 points from 4 games, that's just shit. Everything is going to go so badly for Pardew now. There is no excuse for that. They weren't fatigued. We didn't have that many internationals away, and even then the internationals that were away didn't play much. Only Teote really, and considering he was one of the better players in our team in the second half, quite frankly, it's no excuse. Extra games? No, he didn't have extra games. There was nothing wrong. what'll happen is I'm waiting for it, he'll blame the fans for singing Pardew out. You know, well, singing all the chants, you know. But the point, and all the commentators, all the journalists will say the same thing. They'll say it doesn't help. Well, it doesn't help us either. We want to see good football, and we're not seeing it. What do you expect us to do? Sit there and watch? No, we're going to get vocal. We're going to start shouting your shit. Because you are. We're not just going to sit. We pay to see them do it. We pay to see good football from Newcastle United, and we don't see it. So what do you expect us to do? Just sit there and watch? Just wait for them? No, you can go fuck yourselves. We're not doing it. Anyway, I'll finish up there. Been the GeordieJedi. Leave a like if you can. It really helps. Subscribe if you want. There's a link in the description below for you. May the force be with you.